Hi everyone, it's Sabrina Rin. um, so here's my soul doll Gina. I braided her hair. How cute is that? Want to see the back? So, as you realized, there wasn't any video this Monday, and today is Friday. For this Friday's video, I've been having some serious technical difficulties. I have made the videos and I did make the project, and they just didn't come out. They didn't even upload. And then last week's video got cut up to two videos. I lost daylight, um, and my kitchen light isn't sufficient enough to show anything. I don't know. And it's been so cold, and we just got snow just a few days ago again. It's been so cold. So that's why if I look huge and I constantly am wearing crazy looking fuzzy sweaters, cuz it's cold. It's extremely cold, and yeah. Now I look like a woodland mage. Oh, there's an idea for a costume. Yeah. So Gina's in her comfy, and look at her hand. She's like, "Come on." So, yeah. So, she's she's looking adorable here. Just sit her down. So she's just here with me, and she lost the sock. So we're gonna talk about what happened to my videos. I'll tell you, it's been rough. I'm going through some stuff. After being sick for the holidays, I just, it's been constant stress with things and the schedules. I don't know what's going on with my videos. The sound quality was very poor. I try to quickly show you a painting, a watercolor painting that I did in that last video. I no longer have the painting because I actually did that painting to give to a very, very close friend of mine as a gift. I've never worked with watercolors before, and I was just experimenting. There's some other artwork that I'll show you at a later time when I come back and do another video, actually. So I will try to do that. Um, my my thing is I'm gonna try to do the Comfy Dolly slash BJD Confessions BJD doll tag to Nerdy Doll Girl, and I am so bad with names, and I can't remember her or your name. I'm so bad with it. Nerdy Doll Girl's friend in the video from when you guys were together to do the Alice Collections opening, box opening. I tag you as well. I'm so sorry that I can't remember your name. Um, you know, there are three questions. I have them written down here. People have asked me several times, uh, you know, about my doll collecting as a collector, about my dolls. So I want your take on it. These are some of the questions that I'm getting. What are some of the positives and negatives that you've learned from being a doll collector or collecting the dolls? Um, my thing is the positives mostly is that I've learned a lot about doll collecting, and not just BJDs, but other doll collecting. I have found my way when I was researching to get BJDs. I had found Blythe dolls. Um, and you can get jointed factory or custom Blythe dolls. I did not even know that. Um, and I have some of my own, and then I have regular Blythe as well, and some legit, some factory. Um, I just let's see. I've made some wonderful new friends. Being a doll collector, I found some doll collecting friends. They don't live in the same state that I do. I live in the U.S. Um, they live in different states, and shout out to my close friends there. I love you guys. Um, and we talk a lot as much as we can because we all have busy lives. I apologize for the lighting. The lighting has been crazy. I don't get a lot of light in here. That's why they stay here. It's very dark in this room. So, um, I just, here. Let's try this. There. Now you can see my face. So I feel like there are more positives than there are negative experiences as far as experience goes. My close friends and my family, embrace my hobby, and sometimes I like to just harass. I like to harass my friends and family, my sister, pictures of Gina and Annie a lot. If I'm doing some costumes or brand new costumes, or if I'm doing a certain theme, um, I think she's smiling. She knows it. I like to photograph her a lot. She's very photogenic. Um, and she doesn't need extra lights or angles. She just photographs very well, as you can see. She's very photogenic and she's looking great on video. Annie needs a little bit of lighting work due to her dark hair wig, I think, and her pale skin sometimes gets lost in a lot of colors and backgrounds. But I'm trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out her character, her personality. I don't know if it's due to, and I think that walks hand in hand with the negative part of doll collecting, is sometimes you think you have it planned out for a doll, and then you get the doll and you're like, okay, this is not exactly how it's working out. So I had some costumes and stuff that I kind of did for Annie, and it just wasn't working out right for her. She just didn't look good. Um, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's just something us doll collectors do, if it's part of our personalities, but sometimes I think that I can see the expressions on the dolls' faces, and that how they give me the personality. And I didn't think that Annie was happy in some of the outfits that I was putting her in. And now, with that, with the upcycling video, I did her flapper belly dance costume. That was actually something I had done over a year ago, sometime after I got her. And I thought, oh, she has the body for this costume. And the costume was actually for her. And she didn't have a wig at the time, and she looked good, but she needed a wig. Um, and I didn't know what color hair she was gonna get, but I knew that I wanted something in brown or red. I was going for red, but I get a combo and it's long. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be long, but it turned out great for her because she has brown eyes, big brown eyes, like I do. Um, but then when you put her in some costumes, she just kind of disappeared and you couldn't really see her. And even when she didn't have the wig, she kind of looked like she was kind of ill. Um, and Gina didn't look too happy when they were photographed together. It just kind of looked odd. And it was just not working. And I thought, oh, what have I done? Um, you know, did my husband get me a doll that's just not working out? And I started getting really upset. And I think some of the negatives in the doll collecting is that I have gotten dolls that didn't work out. And and I had to either, and I have done that this past holiday. I had to give up some dolls. Um, I'm not too happy about that, but they deserve a good home. I'm just not bonding with them, and it's just not working out. Um, I try to find them good, loving homes if I can. Um, a friend of mine said, well, if it's not working out with Annie, then just give her to someone or sell her. And I said, are you kidding me? She's special because my husband gave her to me. She may not be the ideal BJD for me, but she's still beautiful in her own way. She has a beautiful face up, company face up from Miradol. And she was well strung, I have to say, because she can sit and stand on her. Well, she couldn't stand on her own, so her legs were kind of wonky from the past. I said, well, maybe if I take the time to restring her a little bit and make her a little tighter. She's now standing on her own. She can sit on her own. She can't sit on her own. Her butt falls off. You know. She needs a lot of support, and she's heavy. She's a heavy big girl. Um, and Annie can sit on her own. She's got great posability. And then little by little, I said, you know what? Let me give her a chance. She deserves a chance. And that's part of what I do. Which actually we can roll into the second question here is, you know, what are some of the challenges or what? Someone's messaging me the question here on the computer. I hold on. You know, what are your plans or dolls that you plan to get, or and what are the challenges that you've come across? I think I answered that in the first question about, you know, the negatives of what doesn't work out. I mean, one of the other negatives that I faced in the doll collecting is that I have been scammed in the past. People weren't being honest. Sometimes or or some people are very well-meaning and very kind and generous, saying, well, I had these dolls, I collected them, I know you collect dolls, here you go, I brought a whole bunch, I hope you like them. And then you're looking at like, ah, so it so it's kind of hilarious sometimes, when people want to give you stuff that you don't want, but then you feel obligated to say thank you. Um, and then you're like, I gotta get rid of this. And then at one point, I just had a house full of dolls, and I said, oh God, my husband's gonna have my head for breakfast like Game of Thrones. So one day he came home and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, don't worry, I don't want all of that. But, and then, you know, answering the second question is, what are my hopes? I hope I get my dream boy doll or BJD. I've never had a boy doll. I never even had a Ken doll. I don't think I was allowed to have one. But it's not that I've never wanted one. It's just, if I do get a boy BJD or a man BJD, he'd be my first and only boy doll ever. Well, maybe not only, but maybe my first ever. You know, somebody for this gal right here. Maybe somebody for Annie. I don't know. Katrina needs a little brother. But it's tough. And when you want to talk about dolls, um, you know, what are some of the? I think I've got some backlash for, you know, when there are people that give you unsolicited advice or unsolicited comments that want to stick their nose in personal stuff. I don't do it to you, so why you do it to me? And then they get offended that you are offended by some of their negative comments. Um, I don't know. So, oh, I think my music just started. If you want to know what I'm listening to, it's Fleetwood Mac. Um, I love them. They're one of my all-time favorites. And those of you who like American Horror Stories, I'm sure you're familiar with, I think, the third season, Coven, which is awesome. Um, and just, they have some amazing music there. And I think those of you who are familiar with Fleetwood Mac were led there by American Horror Story. Anyways, this lighting is just terrible. Okay, so now you can see me. um, going back to that, the dolls of the future, I guess I don't have any more dolls right now. I'm not getting any more. Well, at least not at the moment until I can get some more. Um, uh, Someone's asking me right now about adoption. One of my friends, and she wants to know about doll adoptions. So the question is, I guess, what are kind of dolls you want in the future, and how do you feel about doll adoptions, and what are some of the things that people have said to you about that? And I think, well, I mean, people, like I was saying, people have made some unsolicited comments about it and sticking their nose in where it doesn't belong. Um, I guess adoption is a very tricky thing for me. I faced some challenges in the past about that where people weren't being honest about where the doll was coming from. Especially when it came to Blythe dolls. I still love them. I love to collect them. But I think if you're just honest about the doll, I don't care if it's fake or real. I just love the doll, and if they're adorable, then yes, you want me to adopt them, you want me to buy them, sure. But you gotta be honest about what it is. If it's a factory doll and are claiming it's legit, you can't ask me for an arm and a leg if it's not been customized in any way. Um, Also, and you can't even tell me where the artists are or who the artist is, and you're like, oh, it's all over the place for different things. Like, I got the eyes done here and the lips done. No, no, it's not legit. You're just trying to sell me a lie. Uh, I'm not paying for that. Um, I adopted a doll in the past that I was told that was in great shape. It looked to be in great shape. It's a beautiful doll. Fell apart 24 hours later. The arm popped off. It's plastic, but hello? They're not that delicate. I mean, what kind of conditions was this doll in the beginning? That, not many are hard to take apart or come off that easily. So it had to be in rough conditions before I've acquired her. When I try to confront the person about it, they just got vicious and nasty and just made up lies about how I broke the doll. I'm like, you're the one who sold me the doll. I spent money on it. You told me, and she looked great. And then 24 hours later, her arm comes off. Like, no, that's not, you know. Um, there are people who I've come across, try to sell me a great doll. Um, had a colored past. I know Gina has a colored past. But she's a great doll. I haven't had any issues with her. Her face up is great. She's legit from the company. I have her COA, and her company box. So I know that it's her. Sometimes I'll have people just say, oh yeah, I have the COA, but you can tell it's just been printed off. It's black and white. I'm like, where did you get this? Who is this for? It doesn't even look like anything of the doll. It doesn't have a serial. So that's kind of... So you get where I'm coming from. So that's my thing about adoption. I'm extremely picky in dolly adoptions, but I am always open for dolly adoption. And those of you who are thinking, well, do you take used or old dolls? Yes. In my earlier first videos, I have mentioned that I collect porcelain dolls, and at some points, my other videos, I have mentioned in the past that I used to rehabilitate porcelain dolls, and fabric dolls as well. Um, as far as BJD goes, depending on the BJD and the company it's from and the size, and depending on the severity of the used condition, I will say yes or no, depending on it. If there's a BJD that you've had for a long time but just can't seem to bond with it and can't seem to sell them, I'm here. I'll take them. If the doll is not too far off damaged, um, or needs to be completely taken apart, unless it's those things, I don't think I'll turn it down. Um, whether it's a smaller BJD or whether it's a creature BJD, whether it's a boy, a colored skin BJD, I'm very much open to. Oh, let me turn this down. So I am open to all of that. It's just that, I don't take. Oh, even if they're a little yellowed, it's okay. If they're a little shiny, that's okay. Because I know that mirror dolls, if not handled properly, they do tend to turn shiny, like they're plastic sometimes, and that's okay. A little bit of the sponging can take care of that. Um, Now, the reason why you're thinking, like, why am I doing this video here in not insufficient lighting? This is where my BJDs are placed in my room because it's the darkest room. They don't get any direct sunlight or right underneath the lamp. This is further in the back. So my dolls are safe here. I have a separate room for my dolls in the office. Now, eventually you'll see that. Oh God, this is just so tough because I don't have this week's video for you guys. I'm gonna try and get the technical issues taken care of, and something will be up next week. I promise. I absolutely promise. So I'm just doing the comfy confessions for a BJD tag right now. So any other okay. Last question, or maybe third question, is what are some of the funny things that has happened to you or with your dolls, or that you did with your dolls, currently or in the past? Great question. I'm always doing funny things with my dolls, or funny things always happen with my dolls. I think I was saying in the first question or the second question, I don't know. Question 2, A, B, C, or D, I don't know which one. I'll have a costume on Annie and she just didn't look good in the beginning. So I would take whatever I had on Gina and I would put it on her in a workout. Or the one that it was originally intended for Annie and I put it on Gina, like that last week's video for the upcycling, that pink dress that she was wearing. For Christmas, I had put that dress on Annie and it just wouldn't close, and you can see a lot of cleavage. And who knew Annie had all of that? She was she looked really mature, and I dressed her up in jewelry. It was just crazy, and it was just bizarre. And Gina's usually the va-va-voom, like that belly dance flapper outfit. So back when I made it for Annie, she didn't have a wig. So I thought for Halloween I'll just have Gina wear it because she's got hair. She looked very sultry, very va-va-voom, because we're going to keep this rated G. Yeah, so once Annie got her wig, like you saw, Annie got the costume back on. Um, and it was originally made for her. I made it for her, so it was made towards Annie's body structure, doll structure, and her casting is different. Her body is different within shape wise, just like us real sized women. Everyone's body is shape and size is different. I mean, weight is not even. We can weigh the same, but we can be different heights, and we carry the weight differently. I'm smaller, so if somebody weighed as heavy as I am right now, they might not look as big, but I do. Maybe they could be taller, or if but if their body shape is not as petite as mine, they may not look as big, but I'm very small. I'm a very small person, so I'm very tiny, and so gaining a lot of weight makes me look a lot bigger than I really am. So, that's the same thing, in my opinion, for dolls. Sometimes things will work out in costumes and things won't. Sometimes in the doll crafting, for last week's video, it just didn't work out. I tried to make that cloth doll, and I've been making cloth dolls for a long time, and it just didn't work out. Um, and I like to carry my dolls around, and it's hilarious because when my kids get into a fight and I'm holding my doll, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going?" And they're like, "Mom, it's just a doll. She doesn't talk," so they'll stop fighting, get their attention away. But it's kind of hilarious, sometimes my husband will walk into the room and maybe I'll have Gina or Annie posed in a costume and he'll be like, "Oh, whoa, hey." So, I don't really have anything too hilarious, I mean, at this moment. Maybe it's just not coming to me. Um, I think we're gonna go for one last question and we're gonna end this video. I'll ask the question. What, what, I'll ask Nerdy Doll Girl, what are some of the positives and negatives? What are some of the possible dolls that you have in your collection or intend to get? Or, about adoption. How do you feel about dolly adoption? Or exchange? I guess we can call it doll exchanges, not adoption maybe, because sometimes you gotta pay for adoption. You know what? Let's talk about doll exchange. Tell me about that as well. Um, that'll be my last question, and that'll go again on the tag, and that'll tie in for that last question, that second question. So, for doll trades, dolly swap trades, um, you know, I've done them, not very often. They haven't really gone that well for me in the past. Sometimes I'll give away a doll and then I have not received one back. Yeah. I'm not gonna get too much into that. Or sometimes somebody will say, "I'll give you a doll. I'll give you a doll for adopting. You don't have to do anything on your part." Um, uh, you know, and then they promise, and we all know promises, and it never happens. And I know I've made promises in my past. "Sweetie, it's coming, I promise." Just things are just so stressful and crazy right now. I just can't. And then the weather is crazy. I haven't even been getting my mail correctly or on time. It's just insane right now with the weather. Um God, I'm just going through so much right now with so much stress. How can you smile and laugh? Well, this is my saying, if you're not laughing, you're crying, and who wants to cry 24/7, right? So, life and stress is just it's been crazy. I don't know. Dolly exchanges are tough because sometimes you gain some, sometimes you lose some. through certain dolly exchanges, I have made some wonderful friends and I've met some wonderful acquaintances. I would say that it's not entirely, um, it's not all that bad. I think that'll tie into the first questions of the negatives and the positives. Um, some of the negatives that I've gone through is being scammed and conned out, or not people not being honest with me, or maybe I've made some bad decisions, thinking that maybe this is what I really wanted in a doll, and then the doll is here and I get the doll and later on I realize, yeah. If you want to ask me about the story about Annie, yes, I did start to have regrets. Like, what did I do? Did I make a mistake? But, sometimes I'll go back and say, you know what, maybe I'm being a little too rash and too emotional and just give the doll a chance. At first, when I got Gina, I was just so obsessed with her. I still am. Um, and I tend to favor her a lot, and I've been asked, like, well, what's wrong with Annie? I mean, my husband brought me Annie, so it's not that because of that I should love her more. I guess I'm favoring her more because of how beautiful she is, and she's one of the dolls that are my Grail doll companies. So, I never thought I'd fall in love with Annie, but I have. She's still in her costume, by the way. She's still in her flapper costume. She's got that belt, and stuff like that. I love keeping her that way because she looks so beautiful. And I took the time to restring her, and it was very hard. It took a long time, but she can stand on her own now, and her legs are not weirdly flopping around. Um, I think once she was strung a little bit tighter, I think. But her posability is great. She's got a beautiful face up, and I think I'm just starting to figure out her personality. I think because I didn't plan to get her, and I think it goes hand in hand in real life situations where sometimes when you find something that you haven't been looking for. I like to go thrift store shopping, and sometimes I'll go in there with a certain intention looking for something, but then something else catches my eye. I think that happened with my first dolls that I ever got when I started collecting. I found them at a thrift store, and I was looking for a certain type of porcelain dolls and everything, and there she was on top of a shelf, just laying down there, full of dust. And she was large, and I said to the lady, "What's up there? Can I see that?" And she just brought her down, and I was like, "That's it. I'm getting the one that comes with her and some extra clothes." And I was out of there. I didn't even get the one that I was intending to get over there. So sometimes you think you're looking for something and it doesn't turn. So that just about ties it up. I gotta get going. So let me know about how you feel and do your tags about your negatives and positives. What are your hopes for future dolls and your Grail dolls? And, what have been your experiences in the doll collecting? Um, and what do you hope to do with that? Also, how do you feel about dolly adoptions and dolly exchanges? It doesn't necessarily have to be BJDs. Are there other dolls that you have that you collect that you like, that you try to trade with? I know that not everybody has many BJDs, and those of you who have, awesome! And those of you who feel like you need to adopt some of them out, um, woo, yes, please. You never know unless you ask somebody. One time, I personally have asked if somebody needed to adopt my doll, or somebody asked me actually one time. Do you have anything? A friend of mine said, my daughter fell in love with some of your pictures of some of your dolls. You know, I want to know where to get them, and I want to adopt. She fell in love with one of my dolls. Um, just gave it to her. And I let her have it. So that just about sums it up because I gotta go. So let me know if you have more questions. Please ask and tag me back if you can. Um, I would love to do more Dolly confessions and everything. And I promise everyone next week more is coming. I'm going to try to redo those videos. I absolutely apologize for last week's horrible two-parter, bad sounding. I will try, and then the other ones just this week just doesn't work out. Got a very busy day, crazy cold weather out. We just had more snow again, like I said. Um, yeah, it's just been really crazy, and I think that whatever your heart desires, I think you can do, and I think the thought of BJDs is beautiful. I think they're beautiful. My future BJDs, I think I would like to have is as a boy. Um, I've always collected girl dolls. I think that was the question that somebody was asking me in the second question. What kind of dolls do you want or have or whatever? I've always had girl dolls my whole life. So having a boy doll, I think, might be wonderful. Um, I know that there's a group for colored BJDs, and I love colored skin BJDs. I think they're gorgeous. I love the colored hair wigs too. I was thinking of doing a different theme with Gina, like a little fairy elf theme. So who knows? Ooh, trying to get. She needs a hairbrush. So took the braid out. Um, so you know, see ya. Um, I'll just say goodbye, Gina. It's just a work in progress for me, and I'm learning so much. I take criticism, I take advice if you have it, so you're welcome to it. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.